What's happening? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to dive into a clip going over job losses. Congressman will give us a brief overview of how things look so far with jobs losses in the economy. Let's get to it. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content.
And have these cuts been good for the country so far?
No, Wolf. First of all, let's just talk about the first 100 days. I mean, maybe the only president to have a worse 100 days was William Henry Harrison. I mean, it's just been absolutely disastrous. First of all, the Doge caucus in Congress is dead. It's defunct. It met twice. I was there and never met again. They weren't included in any conversation. So the Doge caucus in Congress officially dead. Doge of the executive branch, a complete failure. They have not met their goals by 85%. And they didn't do any efficiency. Nothing in government is more efficient. They just did dog. They forgot the E part. And so it's been a complete and utter failure. That's why Elon's had to run away back to his company. He's ruined his name, he's ruined his company, and he's gone on to ruin the federal government. And so look, consumer sentiment is down to the lowest level to 1990. GDP, obviously, is underwater, completely reversed. The tariffs are the biggest man-made economic disaster of the modern era.
Strong words indeed, Congressman. We've also learned that the U.S. economy contracted during the first 3 months of this year. That's the worst showing since 2022. Many economists blame President Trump's policies, including, of course, his tariffs, the trade war, but the president is pointing the finger at former President Biden. How do you respond to that?
I thought Biden was in the basement, right? I thought Biden didn't have all his faculties, but yet they continue to do this two things with Biden, like, oh, he's slow and he wasn't with it, but yet he's this mastermind. Let's be clear. Donald Trump said this was his stock market in January of this year. January 24th, he put out a nice tweet, said this is the Trump stock market. And then on April 30th, he put out this is the Biden stock market. What happened? Oh, it was Liberation Day. Liberation Day. He liberated the American economy of $5 trillion. And so, look, this was a major mistake of theirs. They didn't calculate how this would go. They tariffed the whole world, including the penguins at the same time, friend and foe alike. They didn't do reciprocal. It was more, they can't make all these deals in time because they got to deal with governments that then have to vote on things. And so, yeah, look, they've walked a lot of this back. They've walked it back because they're trying to save the bond market from completely collapsing. And so, look, I want the president to figure a way out of this, right? I don't want the economy to collapse. I don't want the American people to lose money in their pensions and their stock market. I don't want people to be laid off. And so I do want him to find a way out. And if he wants to work with Congress, we can do that. But, you know, Congress took power away. The Republicans took power away to even be involved in tariffs and gave it to the president. So, look, I hope he finds a way out of this for the American people.
Let's see if that happens. Congressman, I also want to get your reaction to something President Trump said during a News Nation town hall when asked to name the biggest mistake of his first 100 days. Listen to this.
I'll tell you, that's the toughest question I can have because I don't really believe I've made any mistakes. We're in a transition period.
All right, Congressman, no mistakes. What's your reaction?
Well, I don't know, Wolf. Is Canada the 51st state? Have you bought a condo in Gaza? I mean, is Greenland part of the United States yet? I mean, I could go on. I mean, clearly the tariffs are the largest mistake that he has made. And by the way, if you listen to Republican podcasts, what they're saying, I think really is true, is that, look, some of their ideas had merit, but the execution of what they did is what has killed all of this. Finding government waste, good idea. Execution, total failure, right? Trying to figure out how to bring jobs back to America, good idea. Execution, total failure. And so it's been the execution of how they've done this. Rather than doing it with a scalpel, they've done it with a chainsaw. And that's what has been the mistake.
You know, I'm hearing from friends down in your district in Boca Raton that a lot of Canadians who normally visit Boca Raton, tourists, are coming to Boca Raton and other communities in Florida right now in protest of what Trump is saying about Canada becoming the 51st state. Have you noticed a drop in Canadian tourism to Florida?
Yeah, it's 80% less is what we're seeing in the travel data. And yeah, they don't want to come. And look, we're getting into better weather for folks in Canada. So as we're getting out of that season, we're not going to see as large of an impact. But when we get back into season, I mean, I expect businesses to suffer, unfortunately, in Florida and in America. And it's not just the Canadians. We're seeing this sentiment, obviously, around the world. And so, look, this is not too late to reverse.